Welcome to The Explainer. So, what happens when the most valuable company on the planet decides to, well, change its DNA? That's exactly what we're digging into today, as Apple gets ready for a massive leadership shift that's going to redefine the tech we all use every single day. Let's just try to wrap our heads around this number for a second. $4 trillion. That's not just some number on a spreadsheet, it's a global economic force. The decisions made inside this company don't just affect their stock price, they shape entire industries and, our daily lives. A change at the top here isn't just a small ripple in the pond, it's a shockwave. It means a whole new era for Apple is coming, and that means a new chapter for the technology that's become so central to how we live. Okay, so to really get where Apple is going, we've got to first understand who's leaving. Let's talk about the legacy of Tim Cook, the operations master who absolutely defined an era of unbelievable growth. I mean, Tim Cook's time at the top was a masterclass in scale, right? He took the creative fire of Steve Jobs and built this global empire around it. He perfected the supply chain, he pushed into services and wearables, and he turned Apple into the absolute beast it is today. But now, everything's shifting. Apple's next in line, John Ternus, wasn't raised in boardrooms talking about logistics. No, he comes from the engineering labs, from the very heart of where Apple's amazing products are actually born. Ternus is a product guy, through and through. He's been at Apple since 2001, so his fingerprints are all over the stuff you probably use every single day, from iPads to AirPods. But his real crowning achievement? Leading that crazy ambitious switch to Apple's own silicon chips. A move that didn't just make the Mac better, it totally redefined it. And listen to how Tim Cook himself talks about him. He's not praising an operator, he's celebrating an innovator, an engineer, a creator. What does that tell you? It's a huge signal about where Apple is placing its bets for the future. And really, this is the heart of the whole story. It's a very deliberate pivot. Apple is basically saying, okay, we've perfected the machine, now we need someone who can invent the next machine. The mission isn't just about growth anymore, it's about getting that spark of game-changing innovation fired up again. But look, being the CEO in 2026, it's not just about dreaming up cool new gadgets. Ternus is walking into a minefield of complex challenges that are going to test a whole lot more than just his engineering chops. So let's break it down. What are the 3 huge things on his to-do list? And these aren't just, quarterly goals. These are the things that will define his entire legacy and really steer Apple's ship for the next decade. First up, Ternus is a hardware guy, but man, the pressure is on. The iPhone still makes up half of their money, and that hunt for the next big thing is getting super urgent, especially after the Vision Pro had, well, let's call it a mixed reception. All right, next on the list, the AI arms race. I mean, you can see it right here. All the other big players, Microsoft, Google, Meta, they're just throwing billions and billions at AI. And Apple, they've been cautious, maybe a little too cautious, and now it feels like they're playing catch up. And this really gets to the heart of the problem for them. To power its own services, Apple is literally writing massive checks to Google, its biggest competitor. Ternus has to figure out Apple's own path here, and fast, because you can't rely on your rival forever. And then there's the third challenge. And honestly, this might be the trickiest one of all, because it has nothing to do with engineering. The top job at Apple is now a political one. It's about being a global diplomat. Just look at this timeline. This is Tim Cook, the diplomat in action. He navigated trade wars, he handled regulations with this incredible precision. It's a totally different battlefield for a CEO, and it's a skill set Ternus is going to have to learn like yesterday. So, where does all this leave Apple? Well, they're at this huge crossroads, and they're clearly betting that their future is with a creator, not just a custodian of the empire. And that right there is the tightrope he has to walk. It's this incredible balancing act. Can you dream up the next world-changing product while also dealing with tariffs, global politics, and all the pressure that comes with running a $4 trillion company? And that, at the end of the day, is the $4 trillion question, isn't it? Can the product visionary who revolutionized the Mac also master the unbelievably complex world of global politics? The answer is going to define not just John Ternus's legacy, but the future of Apple and the technology that defines our world for years to come.